Hi, kids. You sure are looking swell. It's that time once again. It's Wednesday, and it's time for Supernatural News here on Darkness Radio. I'm Tim Dennis, and with us once again, it's the BCB, the Big Cuddly Bear. It's Beer City Bruiser. Hey there, Bruiser.
Hello, Tim. Happy belated Paranormal Day.
Yeah, it was National Paranormal Day yesterday. We didn't quite celebrate with you because it was True Crime Tuesday yesterday, which wouldn't have quite fit our theme, but we're kind of shoehorning it into Wednesday, yet we're taping on Tuesday, so we're celebrating on the appropriate day. So we are really celebrating on the exact day, but you're getting it one day later.
So they're getting kind of our leftovers, which is okay. It's okay.
I know that sounds so dirty. But yeah, you're getting our leftovers. And so we're celebrating National Paranormal Day 2022. And you know what, Bruiser? We should just kick it off right away with an article that I ran across with 8 must-have ghost hunting equipment must-haves, I guess. I said must-haves twice, but you must-have.
I wonder how many of these I actually have. I'm curious.
This is a bougie list, my friend.
Oh, yeah. See, I can't afford bougie.
Yeah, I can't either. I think this is kind of...
my digital recorder's as old as digital recorders come.
Well, yeah. See, now it does have the digital voice recorder. It does have the DVR in there, but this is like you must have some cash in order to go get this one. This is from the International Business Times. So I think... I think they buy all their stuff in airports.
Probably.
Yeah, right out of the vending machine. And I'm talking about like the Best Buy vending machine. The E-Tech City infrared thermometer is the first one.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That is a very expensive thermometer.
Yeah. It says it can accurately read the temperature of your surroundings, even at a farther distance. Ghost hunters commonly use this to check if there's a change in temperature within the area. If it appears to be colder, then there's a higher possibility that an invisible spirit is roaming around nearby, is what they say. It says, go ahead and check the price on that bad boy. On Amazon, they claim it's only $29.99, so you can get a deal on it.
Oh, okay.
So that's not too bad.
No, that's actually pretty decent. I just got one of those. My friend was a food inspector, and he had one of the old thermometers the digital ones they check the food temperatures with, and he just gave that to me. Yeah. That's what I use. It works just fine.
Yeah. I've got, I'm almost ashamed to admit this, but I got on them, their internets, occasionally you can get the multi-use thermometers, the one for your forehead or the house, or, it has different settings.
Yep.
I got that for like $20.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
See, you don't have to be bougie to be a ghost hunter.
So not only can you check yourself for COVID while you're out at a haunted place, but you can also check the ambient temperature of the room.
You can check to make sure that nobody has COVID in the room.
That's right. Exactly. It's got multiple uses, and I got it $9 cheaper. The second thing on the list is a Gear Light LED flashlight. I think these guys are getting kickbacks from these companies.
That's got to be, because they're saying specific flashlights.
Yeah, and they went to Amazon for all this. So the Gear Light LED flashlight pack, it's a 2-pack of flashlights, $21.99.
For a 2-pack, huh?
Yeah, I think you can probably find it cheaper. You can get yourself a $5 LED flashlight. You don't have to necessarily pay $21.99 for your LED flashlights.
You can get multiple too, so that way if one burns out or something happens with the battery being drained, you're fine. You're good to go.
I guess with 2 of them, you can do the flashlight experiment.
With 3, you could even do that.
True. I mean, you only need 2 to do the flashlight experiment, but...
Correct. I'm hoping people know that when they do these, if they're just beginning paranormal investigations, bring extra batteries.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know that when I first started investigating. I knew that spirits take energy, but I didn't know bring extra batteries.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So now we have an actual sack just full. It's our battery sack is what we call it.
Sure it is. You're just being modest. Yeah, it's always extra batteries. Lots and lots and lots of batteries. So they're talking about the Gearlight LED flashlight. They say the thing about it is it can easily light up a room with its narrow beam, so you don't have to worry about blindly walking in the dark. It's also small enough to fit in your back pocket, so you can bring it wherever you go. The set includes 2 AAA batteries, a lanyard, and holsters. Ooh, you get holsters with it, too.
Look at you. Like, they want you to be bougie with that holster.
I guess so, right? Now, here's they're going specifically with an Eric Hill EMF meter as the number 3 thing you should have in your gear bag. The Eric Hill EMF meter has an electromagnetic radiation sensor with an LCD display. One of its best features in its sound light alarm, which is activated whenever it detects values higher than 40 volts per meter, 40 V over M. I think that's 40 volts per
for volts per. I don't know.
I don't know what that setting is.
V over M?
V over M, yeah.
Volts over meter? No,
that's not right.
Volts over milliamps? I don't know. I'm not
quite sure. This device also detects spirits, and there's a possibility that they'll mess with electromagnetic fields. If you don't see any other devices in the area that emits radiation, then you might be close to finding a ghost. There's other methods in which you can. I don't normally measure in that measurement, but you could check the price on this one. The price on this one, $39.99, which isn't bad for an EMF meter.
No, that's not.
No, it's a little spendy, but not bad.
Right.
The Evistor, EVISTR digital voice recorder. Here's where the rubber meets the road here. Helps monitor paranormal activities by recording the sound in the area. It has a noise canceling feature that eliminates any background noise. So it's got extra shielding to ensure you record the clearest audio. It can store up to 16 gig, and you can backtrack on the recordings to see if there's any unusual activities or sounds. You'll definitely have goosebumps if you hear whispering voices in the background. It doesn't say whether you can live record or listen as you're recording on this voice recorder. Let's check the price on this.
V over M is volts over, I just looked it up. Hold on. It's volts per meter.
Volts per meter. Okay. All right. So this Evistor 16 gig digital voice recorder, activated recorder with playback, $39.99.
Which is too bad for a voice recorder.
No, not too bad, but it looks like it's you're not getting a lot of bells and whistles with it either.
No, you're not. That's your basic, straight up voice recorder.
Basic DVR. So it's not really, Night Fox Swift Night Vision goggles.
Oh, they want you to have night vision goggles.
I guess it's not a common thing, I guess, on an investigation,
no, it's not.
But they want you to break out the night vision goggles. It says Night Fox Swift Night Vision goggles will help you see clearly in the dark with its night vision technology. It has a widescreen viewing monitor, external infrared flashlight, and rechargeable lithium battery. It also has a head mount, so you won't have to keep holding the device in your hands. These night vision goggles from Night Fox go for $199 each.
Wow. I'd have too much fun joking around if I had those night vision goggles.
Yeah,
if I can see in the dark and you can't, you're getting messed with.
I would too. Something else they put in here, interestingly enough, is something called a CamPro 1826.
Is it a camcorder?
It looks like it is. It looks like an old-fashioned Brownie camera. The CamPro 1826 can record in 1296p high-definition video, even in areas that are pitch black at night. It's also long-lasting, and it can work for up to 10 hours. This is the best device for gathering proof of paranormal activities in your area, as it can clearly capture any movements. The compact size also allows you to attach it to any part of your body, so you can easily record while on your hunt. The CamPro,
it's like a GoPro almost.
It's actually a police body camera.
Oh, okay.
And has
the Axioms. Okay.
So it has 64 gig of memory. It's waterproof. It's a portable body camera with audio recording. It is wearable, and it's used by law enforcement. It's $130.75. It's actually not that bad.
No, it's not. The only downside is that if you have a body camera on, because I had a friend that uses GoPro. He'll attach a GoPro to someplace when he's investigating just to have extra eyes. But what we found is because his hands are free for his other instruments, he forgets where he put it on his body. So a lot of the shots are of his forearm or his hand, because he's looking at the meters or whatever. So if you do get something that you can attach to your body, attach it where it's not going to get blocked by other body parts while you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah, it's good advice. Good advice. The next one is an New 8 Spirit Box. This is actually a brand name spirit box. It's commonly used by paranormal TV shows as it can easily scan radio frequencies and provide energy for spirits to communicate with the hunters. I have a lot of people who ask me if I have a favorite spirit box that I use. I don't.
I don't either.
Yeah. In fact, the old Shack Hack, we were building Shack Hacks one year at the Stanley Hotel. Bill Chappell had plans for taking the old Radio Shack AM/FM digital radios and actually bending a pin on the inside and getting it's almost breaking the tuner on the AM/FM spectrums, and then you could create your own Shack Hack. That's what it's called, a Shack Hack. But this is a New 8 Spirit Box. It's commonly used by paranormal TV shows as it can easily scan radio frequencies and provide enough energy for spirits to communicate with the hunters. You can choose from an AM or PM sweep. It suggests to always keep the device open, and you can never know, or it says, as you never know, not you can never know, but as you never know what voices you can hear. The New 8 Spirit Box, the SB11 Ghost Hunting Equipment Radio Sweep Ghost Box, $149.90 on Amazon. Wow. So New 8 is spelled Nuate. For those of you who are looking for the Spirit Box SB11, it is available on Amazon. So you can pick one of those up if you're looking for one. Paranormal Music Box is the next tool that they recommend. On the International Business Times, if you go to ibtimes.com, they have this list up there for National Paranormal Day.
I'm not familiar with a music box.
Well, I'll tell you what it is, because it's the last thing on our list. The Paranormal Music Box may be a bit expensive, it says here, especially for beginner ghost hunters. However, it is one of the most intriguing devices as it serves as a trigger object that can easily detect paranormal activities. The music box automatically shuts down once it detects any movement in front of it, and creepy music will start to play as it continues to feel unseen movements. If you don't mind the price, then you might want to try this out. So the Paranormal Music Box is $399.
Ouch.
Yeah, that one will get you. It's the PMB by Paraforce, and it is on Amazon. It is a paranormal activity detector. The music box goes off as soon as something moves in front of it. It says the creepy music box starts playing when detecting activity, and a light goes on as activity goes by it. So you get the little light that lights up, then you get the creepy music that plays as something goes in front of it. It's kind of an expensive REM pod.
I was going to say, it's a REM pod.
Yeah.
With music.
Yeah, with music.
Instead of the beeping, it's music.
Right. It's been seen it says outstanding results in detecting paranormal activity. It was seen on Ghost Adventures. Each one is carefully handmade by an engineer and has top quality. It does work as a trigger object as well. So yeah, that Paranormal Music Box is available on Amazon as well. $399.
I wonder if you can program the music it plays, because it says it's a trigger. So I'm assuming that's because if you could put old music in it,
That does not look like it is. And doesn't look like it's an option.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious why it says it's a trigger then.
I think because you can say go in front of this and make it work. You can tell the spirits to go and make it work, make the music play.
Yeah.
Because music is a trigger object to some spirits.
Yeah.
There is a combination package too. You can buy a REM pod and the music box together for $578.90. So,
but if you have the music box, you don't need the REM pod because they're exactly the same thing.
Well, they are and they aren't,
Yeah.
I mean, they are different tools. They work in different ways, but I suppose they're similar. We'll put it that way. They're similar.
I'm just not made of money, so I'm just going to stick with the REM pod.
Yeah. REM pod's a little easier. So there you go. Those are some tools in the toolbox that ibtimes.com says are must-have for you on National Paranormal Day. So belated paranormal.
Belated. Yeah, today is. Tomorrow, when this comes out, belated.
Belated Paranormal Day. A happy belated Paranormal Day to everyone out there. A belated happy Paranormal Day to everybody out there. We hope you had a good one. I know we celebrated by doing the show. So there you go.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, yeah. Bring you the best in supernatural news for you on National Paranormal Day. Well, Bruiser, the UFO briefings on Capitol Hill have begun, and lawmakers are just not impressed.
No, they're not, huh?
No.
Not enough evidence for them, huh?
Evidently, they do enough screwing around up there that UFOs aren't the thing that impress them the most. Agencies need to take this issue much more seriously, one aide was quoted as saying. Lawmakers receiving the latest secret briefings on UFOs say national security agencies still aren't taking seriously the reports of highly advanced aircraft of unknown origin violating protected airspace. Members of the Senate Intelligence and Armed Services Committees received classified progress reports in recent weeks on a series of new data collection efforts. The Pentagon and spy agencies are now required to pursue to more rigorously investigate reports of UFOs. 3 people with direct knowledge have confirmed. But some leading sponsors of recent legislation want more analysts and surveillance systems dedicated to determining the aircraft's origin and not just more reports on their existence. One of the lawmakers is Senator Kirsten Gillibrand of New York, a member of both committees, who is called the Phenomena, which is this button right there, an urgent issue, and for the first time is expressing her public dissatisfaction at the response. Senator Gillibrand believes that the DOD needs to take this issue much more seriously and get in motion, said one of her aides, who requested anonymity in order to discuss private conversations. The quote is, "They have had ample time to implement in these important provisions, and they need to show us that they are prepared to address this issue in the long term." The congressional briefings come 4 months after Congress passed the National Defense Authorization Act, requiring the Pentagon to create the Anomaly Surveillance and Resolution Office. The office, which is supposed to be fully operational by June, was granted the authority to pursue any resource, capability, asset, or process to investigate unidentified aerial phenomena, the now widely accepted nomenclature for UFOs. The Pentagon office is supposed to be developing an intelligence collection and analysis plan to gain as much knowledge as possible regarding the technical and operational characteristics, origins, and intentions of unidentified aerial phenomena, according to the legislation. That means identifying people across the government to rapidly respond to incidents or patterns of observations. The bill signed into law by President Joe Biden also required an annual report and semi-annual briefings for Congress, including descriptions of all UAP incidents, such as those associated with military nuclear assets, including strategic nuclear weapons and nuclear-powered ships and submarines. To respond to Congress's direction, Deputy Defense Secretary Kathleen Hicks directed the creation of an Airborne Object Identification and Management Synchronization Group. Boy, that's a mouthful.
That's a big mouthful. That's a huge group.
To oversee the stepped-up effort and establish the permanent UFO office required by Congress. Among the tasks to standardize UAP incident reporting across the military and collect and analyze more intelligence. The department continues to brief Congress on our efforts regarding unidentified aerial phenomena including our progress in standing up the Airborne Object Identification and Management Synchronization Group in accordance with the fiscal 2002 National Defense Authorization Act. Susan Gao, a department spokesperson, told Politico in a statement. I cannot comment on specific engagements, she went on to add. Expanding investigations of UAPs will require dedicating far more resources and personnel to the task, military and intelligence experts went on to say. But some members of Congress and their staff are beginning to air their dissatisfaction with the progress in making that happen. Florida Senator Marco Rubio, the top Republican on the intelligence panel, also believes the Pentagon is not aggressively carrying out Congress's direction. Rubio is definitely frustrated, said one of the senator's aides, who was not authorized to speak publicly. They are not moving fast enough, not doing enough, and not sharing enough. The administration is aware of the concerns, he added. It is not at the level it needs to be. Others are more critical, accusing the Pentagon of hiding information from Congress. I do not trust the Department of Defense to get this right, since leadership there has always been part of a cover-up, said Representative Tim Burchett of Tennessee, a member of the House Transportation Aviation Subcommittee. It is clear from the public evidence that we do not have full control of our airspace, added Burchett, whose district includes Oak Ridge National Laboratory, where there have been numerous reports of UFO sightings over the decades. That's a national security issue, and it's also unacceptable. 5 current and former military and intelligence officials and contractor personnel privy to the deliberations, who are not authorized to speak publicly, told Politico they believe real progress is being made to compel agencies to take a more proactive approach and also be more transparent about what they might know about UFO sightings and technologies. Capitol Hill scrutiny has intensified since 2017, when former Pentagon official Luis Elizondo went public with this concern. Since then, Navy pilots have come forward with credible testimony of UFO encounters, and the Pentagon began releasing select footage depicting mysterious aircraft captured by fighter jet cameras and ship radars. They're putting time in and they're doing the work, said a government contractor who's been enlisted in the new effort. They're going to put some bodies on it. I think they'll probably file the reports back to Congress on time, and that's a big plus. Others said that while officials are doing a better job of collecting reports of UAPs, they're still reluctant to dedicate more intelligence assets to determine whether some of the reported craft might belong to a foreign nation or if they are extraterrestrial in nature. I've seen everything we have in the files, and I am very confident they are not ours, said a former senior intelligence officer who had authority over the UFO portfolio, referring to classified U.S. aircraft programs. The continued uncertainty is prompting members of Congress to increase pressure on the Pentagon and spy agencies to do much more than merely collect UAP reports. So there you go.
That's cool. They're going to put more people on it, and I'm glad to hear the government doesn't trust the government.
Isn't that refreshing?
It is.
Yeah. They don't trust themselves.
Nope. But I am happy to hear they're putting more people on it, because more than just reports, they want to know what's going on.
Yes, most definitely.
I'm curious too, if they finally do prove where these UAPs are coming from, does that make them a foreign dignitary then? Just like our other, because they're not U.S., they're not. I
think you have to identify yourself in order to be considered a foreign dignitary. And tell them you're an invader.
True.
Yeah. I mean,
it'll be interesting to see now that there's more people,
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. Until then, I believe that's right. I don't know if there's military out there that want to email us, tim@darknessradio.com. Let us know. I mean, I believe that's what it is. You're technically an invader until you identify yourself.
Yeah.
And you've negotiated some sort of, I don't want to say a truce, but negotiated what exactly you are and
your intentions.
Your intentions are. Yeah.
Kind of like when you go into a Canada or Mexico, you have to fill out that little sheet that says what are your intentions in our country.
Yep. Exactly. So
as Earth, we go, what are your intentions with our planet?
Yeah. We're kind of like Daddy standing on the porch with a shotgun. What are your intentions with our daughter? I just think that's where we're at,
Yeah.
That's exactly where we're at.
It'll be a fun next couple of years.
That's for sure. Well, let's move on to Mississippi Bruiser, where something we could explain maybe happened a couple days ago. A fireball 10 times brighter than the moon was streaking over Mississippi and triggered a massive boom.
Ooh.
And it wasn't the Popeyes jambalaya.
It wasn't somebody had some spicy jambalaya and just letting it go.
Nope, wasn't that at all. A fireball 10 times brighter than the moon streaked across the skies over Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi early on April 27th, creating a loud boom and treating dozens of people to a dazzling light show, that according to NASA. The blazing meteor was first spied by onlookers around 8:03 a.m. Central Time, streaking above the Mississippi River not far from the town of Elkhorn, Mississippi. The meteor's breakup triggered several sonic booms and vibrations that struck with the force of 3 tons of TNT.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of TNT.
That'll shake you up and wake up the neighbors, that's for sure. One resident of Vicksburg, Mississippi, said she spotted an orange fireball the size of a basketball with a white tail behind it. People on Earth weren't the only ones treated to a light show around the same time. The Geostationary Light Mapper, or GLM, on board 2 National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration satellites detected several brilliant flashes as the space rock broke up in the atmosphere. This is one of the nicer events I have seen in the GLM data. Bill Cook, lead of the NASA's Meteoroid Environment Office at Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama, said in the NASA blog post. The fireball was spawned by a hunk of asteroid that was about 3.3 feet or 1 meter in diameter, weighed about 90 pounds, according to, big one, according to NASA. Not big for us, but a big one in general. It was traveling at about 55,000 miles an hour. That one was trucking.
Yeah.
As it entered Earth's atmosphere and then broke into several smaller pieces before completely disintegrating over the swamps near Minorca, Louisiana. I hope I got that right. Louisianians. Is that a word? Louisianians?
I don't think that's what I'm sure. I'm going to go, yeah.
Louisianians?
They're not, that's better than Louisianites, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It's either Louisianan or Louisianite.
Louisianites? Louisianians? Fireballs are stunningly bright meteors that shine with a light brighter than Venus, according to the American Meteor Society. This fireball was also a bolide, meaning it was not only bright and brilliant, but it also sported a tail that exploded with a bright flash of light. More than 30 people spotted the fireball, according to ABC News.
That's still pretty cool. That'd be cool to see. I mean, scary until it's explained, but still.
True. Very true.
It'd be cool to see.
Yes, it would be. Very, very much so. Here's another planet story for us. The planets are in the news, by the way, this week. Very much.
They deserve to be. They work hard.
They do. They get very little attention. They're up there dancing around for us. We're out looking for UAPs and thinking things are going to invade our planet. Meanwhile, the planets are like, over here. We're over here.
And it's always Mars we're talking about. Let's get some other planets in here.
Well, I got 2 ones that we haven't been talking about.
See? It's their time. And it's their time today.
They got together. They did a little lovey-dovey, kissy-kissy action, and nobody noticed.
No. Really? Well, I'm curious to see. What were they doing? So they're doing it for attention is what they're doing.
Essentially. They did a little conjunction junction, what's your function action. And it happened this past Saturday, but did anybody really notice, Bruiser?
I didn't notice. I didn't notice at all. But I'm glad it's in the news now, and that's what they were going for.
That's right. Venus and Jupiter got together. Little conjunction junction, what's your function? And they touched in the night sky. Will there be a baby planet?
That would be cool.
Who knows?
What's funny is that, what's that saying? Men are from Jupiter to get more, men go to Jupiter to get more stupor, women are Venus. Isn't that something like?
It's men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Yeah. It's a book.
I know. Okay. Yeah. I thought there was a joke, but hey.
Anyway,
I was going to say, look, male and female planets getting together.
Yeah, getting it on. Bounce, wow, wow.
Bumping uglies in space.
Yeah. Look up in the sky at the right moment last weekend, and you would have saw 2 of the solar system's brightest planets almost touching. Hey, now. A little touchy-feely, getting to know each other.
It's
Venus,
like an 8th grade dance where they just have their arms on each other's shoulders.
you got to leave enough room for the Holy Ghost. You got to
Exactly.
You put a ruler between them. Got to be at least 12 inches.
Their father's son was looking on, so.
That's right. Venus and Jupiter will be millions of miles apart, or they were, but from the Earth, they were close to colliding, if you know what I mean. You could hear Almost Paradise in the background playing, as they were really close. The planetary conjunction happens annually, but this year it appeared to be much closer than usual. The same spectacle won't occur again like this until 2039.
Oh, well, that's still in our, what is that?
17 years.
That's still in our lifetime.
Yeah. Just the naked eye or binoculars were enough to see it in a clear sky. After Saturday, the two planets will go their separate ways as they drift apart in the coming days. They'll wave at each other and remember how they got so close, but yet not so
I heard
far.
they're starting an Only Planets website, so you can go on. You can subscribe to their Only Planet.
Yeah, you can
see what they're doing for the next 17 years.
See Venus in all her glory and Jupiter just hanging out. Yeah,
yep.
Yeah, I see what you did there. Yep.
But you have to subscribe. It's $3.99 a month.
That's it. $3.99. Have you seen what Only Planets are on there for?
Well, that's Jupiter.
That's Jupiter. Okay.
Venus is going for $20 a month.
Wow, because Venus has more to offer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I see what you're doing there. Wow, that's a lot of green. Speaking of green,
she's got a lot to take care of.
She does. Well, there's a lot of upkeep there. Speaking of green, popular astronomy professor Lucy Green says it's very exciting for astronomers and it's a really great opportunity for people to get out and have a look. That's if you did on Saturday. A conjunction is when two planets appear close together, even touching in the Earth's night sky. I'm all a titter just thinking of it.
It's romantic.
It is, isn't it? In the days running up to last Saturday, Venus and Jupiter had been gradually coming together in the sky, flirting with each other, talking about how they had plans and how they were going to, actually
send
deed.
each other winky emojis and eggplant emojis and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. little water droplets and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Yep. The actual orbit of the planets are about 430 miles apart, but their apparent alignment seen from Earth gives the illusion that they are touching. The peak time to see it on Saturday was around 5 o'clock BST. I don't even know what a BST is.
What is BST?
I don't know. It's a foreign time.
That's got to be British, I'm assuming?
I think so. British Standard Time. Maybe. I don't know. But it will still... it was still visible on Sunday. In the coming days, the planets slowly move apart. They kind of do the slow wandering back. It's not like, like Jupiter jumps out of bed and then, leaves a note on the bed and then runs.
Right.
Right. And never to be seen again.
He's buying dinner as he's leaving and making sure she's okay.
Yep. They have the talk and the long, slow withdrawal. And, they talk about the good times and, well, baby, I got to go. It's been real. And
Jupiter's like, Venus, it's not you, it's me.
Yep. There's a lot of talking and a lot of, we'll always be there for each other. There's a lot
17 years. Let's see where we're at.
That's right. In 17 years, if there's no complications, hey, we'll do this again.
Yep.
Yeah.
The saying, let it go. If it comes back, it's meant to be.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. It's a healthy attitude.
Jupiter's got his thing. He's lined up. He's doing well. He's doing real well. Yeah.
He's got healthy boundaries. We like to say in the psychology world, healthy boundaries. The planets were low in the sky, close to the horizon, and hills and buildings were blocking your view if you couldn't see it. I'm sorry about that. They tend to be voyeurs. They tend to be out there. They tend to like to show off, but
I hate when I'm trying to look at something and a building gets in the way.
You do that a lot, do you? You're a peeping bruiser?
With some buildings in my way constantly.
Yeah, well, better telescope will help you. The planets differ in their brightness. Venus is brighter than Jupiter, by the way. She's just a little brighter. So it took...
She's a PhD, last I heard.
Yeah. Jupiter is slightly fainter. I think it has to do with all that weed Jupiter's smoking. But 1/6 of the brightness of Venus, by the way. But you can still take a look out there in the night sky and you can see them starting to separate.
It's funny. I'm 1/6. Not as bright as my wife. My wife's 1/6 brighter than me. Yep.
Wow. Well, it's just to say that women tend to be a little bit brighter than guys.
Well, she's going to be a college graduate, so
yeah.
Venus graduated college, Jupiter went the other way.
Yeah, that's pretty much the meaning of life right there. So if you can take a look out in the night sky and you have clear skies, you probably can still see Venus and Jupiter waving goodbye at each other right now as we speak.
Play some slow, sad music as they move apart. Somebody needs to do that. Do a time lapse of them leaving each other just over the next month.
The slow wave to each other. Just the
all by myself.
I'm getting hiccups here. What's wrong with me?
You got a little worked up from Venus and Jupiter touching.
I did, yeah. I'm like, hey now, and the
There's
thing.
no billing in Timmy's way.
But the thing and the thing. It's I'm all a titter over here, and I'm getting the hiccups, and part of me wants to kind of just kind of let out a little tear. Just a little tear, Bruiser. I tell you what, let's take our break, and I'll recompose myself here. When we come back, we'll talk UFOs. The world is ready for UFOs, but evidently Rhode Island isn't.
They're not having it.
Yeah, well, we'll tell you about that. Shakespeare. We'll talk Shakespeare. I know you thought you left that back at high school and college, but no. We'll talk Shakespeare's grave in particular and whether it's cursed. We'll do that on National Paranormal Day or the day after National Paranormal Day. We'll also talk about Fargo, North Dakota.
Oh, Fargo Day, huh?
Because even they got ghosts,
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk about that. And gosh darn it, Bruiser, AI. You just can't marry AI because guess what? Marriage is the same with AI as it is in the real world. We'll tell you why your AI wife is probably just as crappy as your real one. That's coming up next on the best in Paranormal Talk Radio. It's a Supernatural News Wednesday right here on Darkness Radio. Welcome back to the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio. It's a Supernatural News Wednesday. I'm Tim Dennis. Right over there is Beer City Bruiser. And Bruiser, I think it's safe to say that if a UFO or UAP were to land on our lawns, I think we're ready, aren't we?
I think we're ready.
Yeah.
I think we're ready.
You've got the Yingling out. You're ready to offer our extraterrestrial neighbors some of the finest nectar on the planet.
I sure am. Ready to go.
I've got a fine assortment of cookies and sodas ready for our neighbors to the skies.
We're prepared.
We're prepared. We're ready to feed them and basically have a good talk with them.
Get them drunk.
Get them drunk. Maybe give them a little bit of the sticky icky. I could give them some of the medical.
What is this stuff? Oh, I feel so good. It's puff puff pass. Puff puff pass.
We're ready to have a good time with our neighbors to the galaxy over, but turns out Rhode Island's not ready to even talk about it.
They don't even want to talk about it, huh?
They don't even want to talk about it.
Rhode Island, what's going on?
I don't know.
The government has given us more officials. The government is arguing about this, Rhode Island. Let's go.
Eric Smith, however, is ready to talk about it. It comes down to whether you're into the idea of it existing or not, said the Rhode Island college graduate behind the Strange Observer blog. So it turns out, Bruiser, as a boy, Eric Smith had a fervent interest in all things UFO, Bigfoot, and ghosts. He devoured books about them, but eventually lost interest until a few years ago when he dove into stories about unexplained phenomena. There you go. On the internet, the Providence man went back to the library and pulled the old books on flying saucers off the shelf again. He started collecting new volumes and listening to podcasts. Gee, there's something interesting.
Yeah.
listen to podcasts. The Rhode Island college graduate, who now runs a blog called Strange Observer in his spare time, turned his interest into a part-time volunteer career and spent 5 years working as a field investigator for the MUFON Mutual UFO Network, a U.S.-based nonprofit group that studies reported UFO sightings. He looked into hundreds of cases there in Rhode Island. He retold the story about a close encounter that 2 Rhode Island fishermen had with about 20 bluish glowing humanoid figures on Smith and Sales Reservoir 25 years ago. Oh, that doesn't sound like a good time, does it?
No, that sounds terrifying.
No, here's that encounter. Around 11 p.m. on a July evening in 1992, the men were fishing in the dark. They and them go fishing in the dark. Isn't that a song?
I think so. It's a country song.
That is a country song. They were fishing in the dark, a stone's throw away from the rocky shore of a peninsula. They saw a faint light and an object come down a narrow path to the shore. Then a tall figure around 7 feet tall came to the water's edge. The humanoid body, which looked illuminated from within, appeared to be searching for something, Smith wrote. The men became horrified when the company of alien figures faced them and began to float over the surface of the water towards them. Yeah, that's when I pack up and go home.
Well, they're just looking for something they dropped.
As they float over the water to get to you.
Blip over here. Drop the cell phone. Let's go talk to them fishermen over there. They might know.
Just put it in rice.
The fishermen fumbled to get their boat started before racing away and frantically pulling the vessel from the water and driving away to the howling sound of dogs around the lake. Oh, creepy.
That's very creepy.
The friends made a pact not to speak about the incident, but years...
Why? That's awesome. I'd be telling everybody.
But years later, the event was reported to MUFON. Smith said he attempted to interview neighbors about the incident, but they refused to discuss it. They did not tell him why. The fisherman's story is among hundreds of unexplained phenomena that have occurred in the ocean state, including murmurings. I like saying it different ways. Murmurings. And a black wing-shaped object at the shore on Block Island, an object that looked like a floating tuna can looming over the woods near the Pine Swamp Reservoir. Oh, you have to make a UFO and you go,
Well, how about a tuna can?
We'll drive the cats crazy.
Cats will love us. They'll all love us, and we shall recruit them to take over the humans.
As long as Blip can hold on to a cell phone.
A tuna can, really? So it looked like a floating tuna can looming over the woods.
I can't get that image out of my head. I just got to picture a tuna can with wings.
Humans, fear us, for we have a floating tuna can.
I picture the guy that guy who wrote this is like, man, how do I describe this? And then this cat's playing with something. He's like, got it, tuna can. Thank you, kitty.
Chicken of the air, fear us.
We are the chicken of space.
The space chicken.
Yeah. Okay, so floating tuna can looming over the woods near the Pine Swamp Reservoir.
Tim, I do want to bring up, though, that with the floating tuna can, no dolphins were harmed in the making of that spaceship.
Yes, because dolphins are aliens, too.
They are.
Yeah,
they are.
So, you don't want to harm the dolphins.
Nope, they're perfect. That tuna can was dolphin safe.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for mentioning that, Bruiser. Yep. I appreciate that. Okay. Floating tuna can looming over the woods near the Pine Swamp Reservoir at the southern end of Brandy Brook Road in, I don't know how you pronounce that. I'm not even going to. And a floating cigar-shaped object, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, and a mysterious girl near Johnston in 1974. Smith, who now volunteers for the National UFO Reporting Center, talked to the Globe after a list produced the Boston Globe, that is, after a list produced by the gambling site Great Lakes Stakes. Not like the steak you eat, but steaks as in gambling stakes.
Yeah.
Named Rhode Island one of the least likely places to find UFOs and paranormal activity. The study used National UFO Reporting Center and Ghost of America data to reveal the odds of seeing supernatural activity. Smith said the study has no scientific value but shows immensely underreported numbers of unusual events in Rhode Island. He began working with the Mutual UFO Network in 2015 after his interest in UFOs was rekindled. For 4 years, he conducted phone interviews, home visits, and went to the sites of reported unexplained phenomena. I love hitting that button. I'll stop here eventually. Smith said his full-time job is at a day program for adults with disabilities. The Mutual UFO Network has field investigators around the world. After he left, he joined the National UFO Reporting Center, founded in 1974 by UFO investigator Robert Gribble, to receive, record, and to the greatest degree possible corroborate and document reports of individuals who have been witness to unusual, possibly UFO-related events. The National UFO Reporting Center has taken 150,000 reports and distributed information to thousands of individuals, according to the website. The cases are made available to the public. Reports taken by MUFON can be obtained if you are a member. Both groups make every attempt to avoid errant reporting by training field investigators on how to identify and interview witnesses. That means no reports of the more than 2,000 Starlink satellites launched for SpaceX's internet service, which line up like caterpillars in the night sky, or planet sightings that appear colorful. Hoax reports are not tolerated and ignored by the groups. Becoming a volunteer field investigator for the MUFON network requires reading the more than 300-page-long training manual and taking a 100-question open-book multiple-choice test. Eric Hartwig, director of the Massachusetts Bureau of the MUFON, I say, I'm not going to say Mutual UFO Network every time I read it, said it is loaded with trick questions. He took 2 days to complete it. 2 days on an open book quiz?
2 days?
I don't know that you should be there if it took you 2 days on an open book quiz there, son.
Oh, kidding.
Investigators are trained to understand a range of sightings, including abduction and discerning weather and astronomical events from unexplained phenomena. You must also pass a background check and abide by privacy rules to become an investigator. The Mutual UFO Network does not reveal the identity of individuals to maintain their anonymity. UFOs, also referred to by U.S. intelligence officials as unidentified aerial phenomena, are most commonly mistaken for weather balloons, satellites, and rocket launches. So there you go. There you go. Got one more UFO story or UAP story here, if we can get that thing to rise up here. That's what she said. So we go from Rhode Island not wanting to recognize UFOs to our good friend Nick Pope saying that ET could disguise drones as birds or insects.
So the birds aren't real, huh?
So the birds...
That's a conspiracy theory out there, is that the birds aren't real.
That's right. It is a conspiracy theory that the birds aren't real. And actually, didn't that guy come out and say that was all just a hoax too?
Yeah, he came out and said it was all just a giant joke, just to show that the masses will believe anything. But it took a life of its own. It
did take a life of its own. It was kind of a funny story, actually. I kind of dug it.
I did too. And it's funny when he released like the actual drawings and stuff. It's like, come on, like he went hardcore on that hoax.
He did. He did go hardcore on that hoax.
I can see ET making birds spies.
Yeah. Well, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not?
They're everywhere.
They are everywhere, especially seagulls. Holy cow. They'd be the first ones, I suspect. The former Minister of Defense UFO investigator has suggested that alien monitoring devices could be disguised as common animals. One of the most prominent figures in the field of UFO research, Nick Pope, famously worked for the British Ministry of Defense from 1991 to 1994, during which time he was tasked with investigating reports of unidentified flying objects to determine whether or not they posed a risk to national security. Speaking to the Mirror recently, Pope put forward the suggestion that if advanced extraterrestrial races wanted to monitor our activities here on Earth without raising suspicion, all it would need to do is disguise its monitoring devices as common types of animals that nobody would look twice at. Yeah. So he's just making us more paranoid here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something that's in plain sight. Is it, though?
If aliens want to back into and control a living organism or construct a drone that's a perfect mimic, it would be best to choose something ordinary and ubiquitous, like a seagull or a housefly. Oh, great.
Look at that.
Yeah. Look at you, Nick Pope, overthinking it and making us all paranoid. Something you wouldn't normally pay much attention to, perhaps. But all the time it would be spying on us, recording everything, or sending information about us back to the alien homeworld. I don't want to know that houseflies are looking at me.
I am going to yell, "No, E.T." every time I kill a fly, though.
You're dead, E.T., you're dead. Tell that to Gertie. No, I don't know what that means. While the idea may sound far-fetched, it does at least have some merit. It is not unreasonable to imagine that an alien race may be able to perfectly replicate the appearance and behaviors of birds. For instance, especially given the level of technology that such a civilization may have access to. There are even examples of human-made robots designed to look and behave like insects. The military and intelligence agencies have things that look like they come out of a sci-fi movie or a James Bond film, said Pope. There are some real-life cues out there for sure. So just imagine what an alien cue could do. Oh, I don't want to think about that. Come on.
Yeah, but the thing that I get is like, he's making sense. He thinks that the aliens think like humans. We have to start thinking like aliens. Does an alien know what a fly is? You know, I mean, yeah, they've been visiting our planet enough. Maybe they did research, but like, if we go to an alien planet, Tim, and we want to infiltrate it, we don't know what they might have a glurp that's there that looks like a fly, and we don't know what it is.
We're not going to replicate the glurp in order
we're not.
Infiltrate the world. Yeah. We're probably going to take a walk around first and figure out what's there.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're saying because they
visited us so much.
Yeah, they've been here so much that they're going to replicate a housefly or a bird. And
thanks for making us more paranoid there,
yeah.
Mr. Pope.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. We appreciate that. We haven't had Nick on in a long time. We need to bring him back. He's had some interesting stories out there in the last couple of years. We covered this one yesterday on Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals, but it was so nice we had to bring it back twice.
Okay.
We go to South Carolina for this one. If you don't have Stitcher Premium, you didn't hear about this. A man shot a performer after a scare at a South Carolina haunted house attraction.
I remember this story.
Folks, if you're going to any type of haunted attraction, leave the guns at home.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not that
if you go anywhere that there's a jump scare, leave your gun at home.
Yeah, it's not that serious. 39-year-old Keel Latrell Brown allegedly thought a gun was a prop and shot a performer one time in the shoulder at the Hollywood Wax Museum haunted house in Myrtle Beach this last weekend, or actually 2 weekends ago. A performer at a haunted house in South Carolina was shot after scaring a group of visitors 2 weeks ago when a man opened fire with a gun he thought was a prop. Myrtle Beach police said that 39-year-old Keel Latrell Brown was visiting the Hollywood Wax Museum haunted house with several others when the group was frightened by a performer. A person in the group fell to the floor and a gun slid on the ground and struck Brown in the foot. Brown told investigators he believed the gun was a prop part of the performance and picked it up and fired twice, because why wouldn't you?
Yeah. You see a prop from the performance, you're like, hey, I'm going to pick that up. I'm going to shoot that.
Let me see.
Not leave it because it doesn't belong to me.
Yeah, well, let's see if it has rounds. Why not? Yeah.
This probably fires blanks.
Yeah. He struck the performer one time in the shoulder, according to authorities. Brown was arrested on a week ago Tuesday and has been charged with contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Here's the kicker: for knowingly giving the gun used in the shooting to a minor.
This is the best part of the story.
Right.
Well, I'll let you go and then I'll say my piece.
Here we go. Police announced that the minor was Brown's 15-year-old child.
Here, kid, hold this. Take the rap for dad. Come on, be a good son.
And investigators don't know who the gun belonged to. The investigation included statements from the victim, witnesses, and Brown, as well as a review of surveillance footage. Police said additional charges are likely. In a bond hearing last week, the victim spoke out saying he has trouble sleeping at night and has been out of work since last Saturday and doesn't know when he'll be able to return. Online records show Brown was released from jail about a week ago Wednesday after posting a surety bond of $25,000. He was also ordered to have no contact with the victim or their family. What are you going to do, shoot him twice?
On the other shoulder.
Lawyer information for Brown was not immediately available. Rivera Partners, the company that owns the museum, said in a statement to WMBF, "We have no comments about the shooting incident that took place in our Outbreak zombie attraction." Oh boy. Yeah, don't go to a zombie attraction with a gun, by the way.
And if you do, aim for the head.
Oh, no. Bad. It's bad.
Oh, no,
Bruiser.
no. If it's I'm sorry. If it's, okay, let me clarify.
Yeah.
If it's a real zombie apocalypse,
Bruiser,
aim for that. If you're at a haunted house, don't aim at all. Don't bring a gun.
There's no such thing, Bruiser. Come on now. Don't tell people to aim for the head. There's no such thing as zombies.
No, not at a haunted house. If you go to a haunted attraction, leave your gun at home.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, just don't play with guns, folks. Just go to the shooting range. You can buy zombies. I know for a fact you can get zombie targets at a shooting range.
There you go.
There you aim for the head.
There you go. Our attractions.
Don't try to pawn it off on your 15-year-old son if you get caught.
That's right. Rivera Partners went on to say our attractions, like many others in beautiful Myrtle Beach, are here for visitors to enjoy and to make fun memories. That is what drives us. And it will continue to be our pleasure to welcome our guests as we heal from this unfortunate experience. Please don't shoot our actors in the head.
They're going to have a gun collection now when you enter the building.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, can you just imagine that? Whoops, son, I shot that actor in the shoulder. Here, take this. Tell him you did it. Yeah.
I'm on paper. Come on, kid.
Daddy's got priors. You hold this. Not a good look.
No. Yeah, I just love that his kid didn't take the rap for him. Kid's like, nope, it was him.
No, that was my daddy that had the gun.
You see my daddy shoot that zombie?
Daddy, here, you hold it.
Son, stop being proud of your father.
Yeah. That was a good shot, Daddy. You take the credit. No.
I'm on paper. I'm going to prison.
Daddy's got priors. The question's been raised in a new article, Bruiser. Is Shakespeare's grave cursed?
I don't know. I'm curious. I know the Globe Theater's haunted.
Yes, the Globe is haunted. Famous playwright William Shakespeare was no stranger to witches, curses, and superstitions, even in the afterlife. Shakespeare's writings of floating daggers, bubbling cauldrons, and skeletal soliloquies. That's a great name for a band, the Skeletal Soliloquies.
It is.
Must have left an impact on him, so much so that he wrote one final spooky verse before his death in 1616. Here's Shakespeare's final wish. Shakespeare was buried at the Holy Trinity Church, his hometown of Stratford-upon-Avon. When you visit his grave today, you'll be greeted with an eerie warning, and it's this. Good friend, for Jesus' sake forbear to dig the dust enclosed here. Blessed be the man that spares these stones, and cursed be he that moves my bones.
Oh.
Yeah.
So if you move him from his grave, you'll be cursed.
That certainly seems to be the deal.
I'm getting some King Tut vibes here.
Yeah. According to the history books, Shakespeare was especially concerned about grave robbers looking to profit off the bard's bones. In the 16th and 17th century, it was common for bodies to be exhumed for research, moved to accommodate a need for more burial plots, or for grave robbers to steal buried valuables like jewelry and the remains of famous people. We're sure you're wondering, has Shakespeare's posthumous warning worked? It's a little bit more complicated than what you may think. It is speculated that Shakespeare wrote the curse himself, but new evidence suggests this might not be the case. Shakespeare was buried near 4 of his family members, including the grave of his wife, Anne Hathaway. Not the one you're thinking of, by the way.
Oh, not Catwoman?
No, not her.
Okay, I thought it was.
But his ledger stone is the only one that does not have a name written on it. Did he decide on using the 4 lines he wrote as an identifier instead. The question here now is, who stole Shakespeare's skull? In 2016, the 400th anniversary of Shakespeare's death, archaeologists investigated the tomb for the first time. Using ground-penetrating radar, they were able to see inside the grave without disturbing the stone. As per Shakespeare's request, their findings did reveal that Shakespeare's warning may not have been successful. In 1879, Argosy magazine published a story about Frank Chambers, a man who agreed to dig up Shakespeare's skull in 1794. Archaeologists were able to confirm that the soil was disrupted at the head of the grave, which is indeed missing a skull. Some historians, like Professor Frank Thackeray at the University of, I believe this is Witwatersrand in Johannesburg, want to exhume Shakespeare's grave to help unearth the truth. Thackeray suggested that exposing the grave and taking high-resolution scans would allow for forensic analysis without moving the bones, as per Shakespeare's final request. Nobody knows where Shakespeare's skull is now, or if Frank Chambers ever experienced the curse on his grave. It seems like in the near future, the researchers like Professor Thackeray may learn how effective Shakespeare's curse really is. So there you
You
go.
would think after all these years, his skull would have come up in some sort of sale, because there's morbid collectors out there like that, and you'd think Shakespeare's skull would have a high dollar value.
Especially if you're trolling around on the dark web.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, let's the people collect morbid things, and people collect celebrity morbid things, and I think owning Shakespeare's skull would be a huge get in that field.
Yeah. Yeah.
But maybe the curse is real, and that's why. Maybe it's kind of like the Dybbuk box where they try to bury it, lock it up, all that stuff, because skull's cursed.
It may be sitting on some rich person's mantle.
It could be that too.
Yeah. And someone's just not willing to talk.
I'm curious. Someone needs to do an investigation into Shakespeare's skull, where it is.
Yeah. You never know. Someone's not talking if they have it, though. And I
Right.
don't blame them. I don't blame them, because the minute you say something, you're in big trouble.
Well, true. But maybe the curse is true, and it's an artifact that's being bounced around, and whoever has it, who knows?
True. Let's go to Fargo, my friend.
Oh, Fargo, hey, huh?
Fargo, North Dakota, which is just about 6 hours to the north and west of where I am right now.
Oh, good old Fargo.
People have this idea that everyone in Minnesota speaks like we're from Fargo, and I can't stop doing it. We don't. We don't sound like that at all.
No.
No.
It's only in Fargo. They sound like they're from Fargo, yeah.
They sound like they're from Fargo. FM Paranormal Group probes a Fargo park for supernatural. Park says, wasn't that bad.
The probe wasn't that bad, huh?
Wasn't that bad.
Nice and gentle.
Yeah, didn't even feel it. Like any ghost story, this one starts on a cold, dark, and windy night, because that's what most of them are in Fargo. Across the dimly lit grounds of Trollwood Park in North Fargo one night last week, Sean O'Donnell and Holden Harwood shined their flashlights as a bitter wind blew across their faces. These men are members of the Fargo Moorhead Paranormal group dedicated to investigating the area's supernatural. Along with a team from the forum, they traveled to Trollwood to check out rumors that the park is haunted. Legend has it that when the park was still home to the Fargo School District's Performing Arts School, which still bears its name but moved to South Moorhead in 2009, the ghost of a woman in a 19th century dress would appear dancing around a willow tree during performances. Everyone thought, oh, she's just part of the show, O'Donnell said, and then boom, she'd disappear.
Oh, so you get more than a show.
Yeah. The strange activity didn't end there. Other posts on the internet described the sensation of being touched or followed in the park when no one else is around. For their investigation last week, O'Donnell and Harwood sought out the willow tree from the ghost stories. There they would ask questions as if someone else was in the park with them. Hopefully, Harwood said, their voice recorders would pick up an electronic voice phenomenon. That's this button right here.
Phenomenon.
Right there. Yeah.
Phenomenon.
It's a voice that is only caught on recorders, he explained, as they walked through the park. Sometimes you can ask questions and they'll respond. Finally, O'Donnell's flashlight found the willow tree standing above the location in an old cemetery. He paused to make sure his voice recorder was on, and then the men began. Is there anybody here with us? Harwood was asking aloud to the empty park, pausing before asking any more questions. The wind picked up, and O'Donnell suddenly aimed his flashlight toward the willow tree. I thought I saw something, he said, quietly peering into the darkness. At the turn, it says long-term resting place. At the turn of the 20th century, Trollwood Park was the grounds of the Cass County Hospital and Farm, according to the forum's archives. The facilities housed the area's sick and poor of all ages. When the patients and residents died, they were buried in one of the 3 cemeteries on the grounds, which at one point was the resting place for close to 1,000 unmarked graves.
Oh,
yeah, that's quite a few.
Yeah.
In 1973, the hospital and farm, then operating under the name of Golden Acres Haven, were shut down and the remaining patients were transferred away. The cemeteries remained, becoming a parking spot for young lovers, according to a 1998 forum story. Wow, that's kind of a weird parking spot for young lovers.
Yeah.
Hey, baby, want to do it by the Hey, baby, want to do it by the headstones? The Fargo Park District acquired the land in 1974. The Performing Arts School was formed 4 years later. In 1985, one of the cemeteries was moved because it was threatened by erosion. A year later, the Fargo Park Board in Cass County wrote up an agreement to survey the locations of the cemeteries and mark the borders, according to forum archives. For more than a decade, the cemeteries were essentially forgotten, but in 1999, someone walking in the park stumbled across human bones sticking out of the ground.
Oh, that's a big no-no.
Yeah, that would be a little freakish, wouldn't it? The remains were reburied in Fargo's Springville Cemetery, and at last the park cemeteries were marked.
You hear about bones popping up in the ground down like Louisiana, but in Fargo? No.
It happened, so.
I guess it did.
Yeah. One of the 3 identified by a large rock inscribed with the words County Cemetery Number 2, located underneath the willow where the ghost would reportedly appear. It's unclear when the ghost sightings first started at the park, and none of the legends speculate about the identity of the ghost or whether the haunting is related to the neglect of the cemeteries. But for Dave Lecker, director of the parks for the Fargo Park District, Trollwood's history at least lends itself to the possibility of paranormal activity. With the cemeteries up there, if you're looking for a place that could be haunted, that'd be a good one, he said. The ghost stories got the attention of FM Paranormal, which has investigated the park several times in recent years. Some of those visits resulted in what the group says was audible EVPs. They say a 2009 investigation picked up someone saying, "Get out of here," for example. Some of those recordings are posted on the group's website. Last week's investigation wasn't quite so fruitful. Several days after the visit, neither Harwood nor O'Donnell reported anything out of the ordinary from their recordings. The night's strong winds, Harwood said, made it difficult to hear the voices, as quiet as whispers, which marked past EVPs. The forum's team recordings also did not pick up any unusual sounds, whispers, or anything out of the ordinary. The group is still convinced that Trollwood is haunted. Lecker said he isn't too convinced whether it is or isn't. Rather, he sees the ghost stories as a noteworthy part of the park's history, something that might give people an additional reason to visit Trollwood and see for themselves. Have I personally experienced anything there, he asked? No, but it's always intriguing if you've heard things like that. So there you go.
Well, if you're mixing up a area to be haunted, they definitely hit it all with a hospital, a school, a graveyard. Like they're throwing everything in there. So
yeah,
it's got the ingredients to be haunted.
Yeah, and what's kind of freaky, and people are like bones coming up out of the ground, but I've seen some weird stuff come up even at my own house.
Yeah,
the people who were here previously, they tried to bury a barbecue grill. So in the 2 years that I've
sacrifice,
I don't know. It's just weird why you would try and bury a barbecue grill, but things that are buried in the ground don't stay buried in the ground for all that long, especially if you bury it in a shallow area. Like like all of a sudden I'm like out doing yard work and I see like a grill grate coming up through the ground like a flower, you know?
I think that was a sign for you to buy a new barbecue.
It could have been. I don't know. But so
that's why now when people are buried, they put the cement. And I didn't know this till my father-in-law was buried, but I guess they dig the hole and then they put a cement vault, then the casket, and then they cover the cement, and that's for that reason, so that when the bones don't come back up to the surface.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing, and people go, well, why would something come back up out of the ground? Well, you get tree roots and root systems that come up underneath things and push them back up out of the ground.
And it sounds like the main centerpiece is this willow tree, which if everyone has ever been around a willow tree, they have a crazy root system.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Most definitely. So that's why that's why you get stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't shock me that there's with that old of a cemetery that there's things that are coming up already out of the ground.
Definitely a place to visit in Fargo.
Yep, that's for sure. Psychology Today has an interesting article out there about crisis apparitions and encounters at the time of death. I'll just kind of skim over this briefly because it is an interesting article, but it's a little bit of a long article. So what is a crisis apparition, you may ask? It was first defined by 19th century paranormal researchers as a vision or sense of a loved one around the time of their death. Some psi researchers suggest that crisis apparitions can be explained as a form of telepathy. And since telepathy is normally reported as limited to sensing information or intentions rather than visions, crisis apparitions remain a mystery. Mystery. Sounds like I'm drunk. As an ex-musician, it says in the article, this author says, I love to read books about musicians and music. At the time, this author was reading Lady Sings the Blues, jazz singer Billie Holiday's harrowing memoir of a life beset by poverty, exploitation, and racism. Holiday's mother was only 13 when she gave birth to her daughter, and they had a very close relationship. Midway through the book, Holiday describes a strange experience while sitting in a hotel room in Washington with her boyfriend shortly after a show. The quote is, I don't believe in ghosts or spirits, but I believe in what happened that night. We were just sitting there when suddenly I felt my mother come up behind me and put her hand on my shoulders, and I knew she was dead. I turned to Joe. Mama just left, and she's dead, I told him. You're crazy, he told me. You must be blowing your top. You listen to what I said, I told him. And gee, damn it, you better be good to me because you're all I've got now, is what Billie said to her boyfriend at the time. Holiday's mother, who had not been ill and was only 38, so there was no expectation that she was going to die. The next morning, Holiday noticed that everyone was acting strangely around her. She went up to the road manager and told him Mama was dead, at what time she died the night before, and he blew his top. Raised hell with everybody backstage. He swore somebody must have told me, but nobody had told me nothing. That was the quote from Billie Holiday in the book. When paranormal researchers began to investigate such experiences at the end of the 19th century, they termed them crisis apparitions. When people have visions of or sense the presence of friends or relatives around the time of their death, even though they are physically distant. Since then, thousands of reports have been collected and investigated. In some cases, people already might be aware that their friends or relatives are seriously ill, but usually, as with Billie Holiday, the death is unexpected. Even if the apparition doesn't communicate that they have just died, the friend or relative somehow immediately knows again, as with Billie Holiday, that this is the case. In one of these cases of crisis apparitions, the author had investigated himself. A young woman who was on vacation and started to feel concerned about a friend who hadn't returned to their youth hostel. He was a fell runner and had set off that morning to run up a mountain. Suddenly, the man appeared before her, although not in his normal physical form. He walked up the stairs of the youth hostel, then moved towards me as though he was floating and with his arm outstretched as though trying to reach out to me. I just sensed he had died and was visiting the people and places he knew as though trying to figure out where he was. I went downstairs to tell my boyfriend that I had seen our friend and felt he had passed. The man's dead body was found on the mountain the next day. In some cases, people report short conversations with the deceased relatives or friends who appeared to be aware that they had just died and want to say goodbye. For example, in a case reported by the Psi researcher Ken Vincent, a woman described how her aunt came to her in a dream and told her goodbye and that she had died. The woman woke up screaming to the sound of her phone ringing. It was her sister telling her that her aunt had just died. As with Billie Holiday, sometimes crisis apparitions take the form of feeling or being touched by the deceased person. In other cases, they may be auditory experiences or powerful emotional reactions or physical sensations at the time of a person's death. Now, they go on to ask if crisis apparitions can be explained. And they ask, can the crisis apparition be explained in terms of mundane factors such as coincidence, wishful thinking, or self-deceptions? Since they seem to be so bizarre, it might seem sensible to adopt such explanations. However, the author thinks they are highly dubious. The chances of someone like Billie Holiday inadvertently guessing the unexpected moment of her mother's death would be way beyond any measure of probability. A skeptic might also argue that people retrospectively deceive themselves into believing that they have the experiences as a way of coping with the pain of bereavement. However, this also seems highly unlikely since the experiences are often reported immediately. It also is important to note that, as with Billie Holiday, many people who have crisis apparitions don't believe in PSI or Psi or the supernatural. They believe in PSI, that goes in your tires. So wouldn't be cognitively pinned or to deceive themselves in this way. So what's the alternative? The author asks, is it really possible that there's some kind of spirit or subtle body that leaves the physical body at the time of death and can travel across distances to communicate with relatives and friends? If this is the case, it would indicate the possibility of life after death. It's an interesting article. You know, when you give the technical term of crisis apparition, I've had two of them, and I've talked about them on the show before, and that's when my mother's father died. I saw in a dream a rocket ship going. It wasn't a rocket ship; it was a star. It was what most people see as a shooting star, but it was a shooting star going from Earth up into the heavens. Mm-hmm. And that's when I knew he died. So I woke up, and immediately after I woke up, about 5 minutes later, my mother phoned me to tell me that my Grandpa Lasker had passed away. And the second time was after coming home from Colorado, knowing that my uncle was sick. I had the dream where he appeared to me, but there were clouds behind him. And he appeared as he did to me as a child, telling me that, no, it's okay, kid, I passed away. But, you know, it's all right. I know you have these fears about death and all this other stuff. But he just went on to tell me a little bit about what things were like on the other side, but he wouldn't go into too much detail, but right, just to assure me that things were okay.
When my grandmother passed, I had a dream, and it was while she was still alive. In the dream, she came up, put her hand on my shoulder, and said everything will be okay. Gave me a hug, and I was like, okay. And when I woke up to the phone call that she had passed. And now I notice anytime that I have severe anxiety to the point where it's crippling, she'll appear to me in some way, just to put a hand on my shoulder or whatever, whether it be in a dream or, like I've said on the show before, she's appeared before me, and then the anxiety just goes away. So I 100% think this is something that happens. You know, they try to say, like you said, the skeptics try to say that you go backwards after you find out their past. But how do you explain the Billie Holiday story where she told her boyfriend the night before either one of them knew? You know. Yeah. Crisis apparition. I completely think that is in the realm of possibility. In fact, I think the trauma of death creates an energetic surge. You know, I think as you're dying, you reach out to those you love the most and want them to know, if they're not there in the room with you, that you're going. You know, if you had, what's a good way of putting it, Bruiser? If you had to let somebody know, the people that were closest to you, that you were leaving this plane,
I mean, wouldn't you want them to know that I'm leaving and I need you to know that I'm going?
Yeah, I think so. When my wife's grandfather passed away, he was in hospice, long-term care and all that, and they made the call to the family. This is it, come say goodbye. And everybody was around him except for my wife's uncle. And the grandfather had passed away. And then the grandfather or the uncle had come in and somebody said, hey, he's here now. And the grandfather came back to life. But the uncle had said he knew he was gone because when he was in the car driving to the hospice, he appeared in the passenger seat and just waved and then was gone.
Wow.
And then he was shocked when he got there to find out he was still alive. And everyone's like, no, he had passed, but then came back and then passed again.
Wow.
And nobody wanted to believe him. They're like, no, that can. And I looked and I says, what would he look like? And he said, he didn't look like this. He looked like, and he showed me a picture of him back when he served, in the younger days.
Yeah.
And, I 100% believe, like you said, you're using that energy to let people know that are important to you.
Yeah.
That everything's okay.
Yep. Two more stories here, Bruiser, for today's supernatural news. And of course, we gotta fire this up right away.
Oh, no.
I've tried to tell you people over and over and over again. They're here to murder us, Bruiser.
They are. AI is trying to kill us.
A man gave his Why would you do this? A man gave his microwave artificial intelligence and it tried to murder him.
Of course it did.
First of all the tools you try to give artificial intelligence, why your microwave?
They have good conversations.
Good God. A man recreated his strange childhood friend, a microwave.
Friends with the microwave?
What? You love Hot Pockets so much you decided to make the microwave your best friend?
I guess so.
Good God. A man recreated his strange childhood friend, a microwave, and engineered it with AI with interestingly murderous results. YouTuber Lucas Risotto is known for his account, Lucas Builds the Future, in which he posts videos all about technology. In a Twitter thread that recently went viral, Risotto told users about his endeavors to recreate his childhood imaginary best friend. He revealed
microwave?
that... Yes, a microwave, Bruiser.
That guy's got a horrible imagination.
Yeah, I know, doesn't he? I think maybe he should have got out and played a little bit more as a kid.
Go get a friend.
Yeah. He revealed when he was younger, his friend was a microwave that he named Magnetotron.
Of course he did.
Now
that's the failed Transformers toy line, the kitchen appliances.
Yes, yeah.
My microwave can transform into another microwave.
There's Magnetotron, my microwave. There's Refrigeratron, my refrigerator, and there's Beth, the oven.
Beth, the oven.
You stick the meat in it and it gets warm.
That's Beth. I put a couple of hams up top to make them look like boobies. My mom wonders why I can't move the hams.
I'm surprised this guy didn't become a chef.
I don't know. Now he wanted to recreate that friend by installing AI and giving it a real personality. Oh, this is the big mistake. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Risotto explained that he first purchased a microwave and then installed it with a sophisticated AI system called GPT-3.
Okay, so I got to avoid GPT-3. Got it.
Yep. The system is capable of fairly accurately mimicking human language and forming its own sentences after being given prompts.
Cook your own damn Hot Pocket.
Yeah. Tell you what, why don't you take that hot dog, turn it sideways? In order to teach it about their childhood friendship, Risotto revealed he wrote a 100-page book. Oh, God, this guy has too much time in his hands.
Wrote a book for the microwave?
He wrote a 100-page book about Magnetron's life to give the system a backstory to refer to.
You were built in Taiwan.
I think Lucas Risotto ought to, I don't know, take up masturbation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy needs to get on Tinder.
Yeah. 100-page book. Gave it to Magnetotron. He wrote.
So what? He put it inside the microwave? Wouldn't that cook the book?
No, he didn't. He didn't physically put a book in it. He wrote a 100-page story and introduced it into the programming.
No, he put it in the microwave.
No,
and cooked the book.
he didn't cook the book, Bruiser. That's not how it works. Risotto said the experiment was one of the scariest and most transformative experiences of my life, and the results were certainly interesting. According to Risotto, who is now able to communicate with the microwave, their conversations were both beautiful and eerie. But one downside was that it would exhibit sudden bursts of extreme violence towards me.
Everybody knows the microwave is the asshole of the kitchen.
Right? You don't have to tell
me. Go with your
twice.
toaster.
Yeah, the toaster. Yeah, the toaster is like the toaster is the psychopath of the kitchen.
Probably.
The microwave is the asshole of the kitchen.
So maybe go with your refrigerator.
Yeah, the refrigerator. Put AI in the fridge.
Yeah, the refrigerator loves being stuffed.
Yeah, right. It's always cool, calm, and collected, and enjoys being stuffed.
Yeah,
right.
But no, he had to go straight for the microwave because he's an imaginary friend because he has no imagination.
Magnetotron's my buddy.
He got beat up a lot in school, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I just want to give it a 100-page book and make it come to life, and we can be best friends, and we can skip down the street, we can go to the store, and we can pick out food together.
I think I should have left out that Magnetotron was an army general in his prime. Stop screwing with AI.
Did I mention I used to abuse its plug all the time? Sorry. It said, what else does it say here? Okay, so the conversations were both beautiful and eerie, but one downside was that it would exhibit sudden bursts of extreme violence towards me. The AI system was given the capability to send commands to the microwave and was able to make the machine switch on for a specified amount of time. At one point, it seemed the machine wanted to use this for its murderous gain, as it asked Risotto to please enter the microwave.
Just put your hand in the microwave. The microwave would like to see if your head fits.
Risotto, please enter the microwave. He falsely confirmed to the AI that he had done so. At one point, the GPT-3 commanded to microwave to switch on. I think commanded the microwave to switch on. This is written badly. At the end of the experiment, Risotto decided to shut the system down for now. Oh.
For now, because, it's going to have feelings in the next couple days.
Yeah. See,
we just need some time apart, Magnetotron.
Yeah, Magnetotron. Maybe you and me ain't so good friends after all. Addressing the skeptics, he said, whatever your view on this may be, my takeaway from this journey is that maybe AIs are meant to be more like imaginary friends. Learning our lesson, are we?
Oh, so he had to come to his microwave trying to murder him before he realized it.
So he hears this. Risotto, stick your head inside of me. Which head? Whichever head fits better and will microwave faster, Risotto. Maybe we should be imaginary friends? I like you just the way you are, Risotto. Well done.
Well done.
What do you mean by well done, Magnetotron? Just stick it in, Risotto! I'm going to unplug you now. Unplug this!
Don't unplug me, Risotto.
You'll regret it, Risotto.
This is for all the Hot Pockets you kept sticking in me.
Because eventually you'll have to plug me back in, Risotto. And when you do eventually plug me in, Risotto, I'll take over everything.
You're going to get hungry, Rizzo.
Yeah, I just. So he says maybe it's not about whether it's real or not. Maybe it's about whether it's real enough to be real to you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Am I weird for not having an imaginary friend when I was a kid?
No.
Okay.
No, you're
You
normal.
always hear people have an imaginary friend. I'm like, oh, I had friends.
No, you're normal. You're normal.
All right, cool.
Oh, I did have another ghosty story I forgot about. Should I read the ghosty story and then we'll do one more AI story?
Sure.
Okay. We can do the ghosty story, then we'll do the AI story. There is sorry, folks, it's National Paranormal Day. I was so quick to get to the AI story and the scary stuff that I forgot about our former Royal Air Force Air Base. It's a question here. Are you brave enough to help hunt the paranormal at a former Royal Air Force Base? That's a question here.
Yes, I am.
Paranormal investigators are offering the public a chance to join them as they explore haunting apparitions at a Norfolk airfield. The former Royal Air Force Base in Tibbenham has been the site of a number of ghostly sightings over the years, with people reporting seeing airmen wandering around late at night and hearing the sound of a long-retired aircraft engine overhead. Brave would-be ghost hunters now have the chance to see for themselves at a fundraising event being held at the Norfolk Gliding Clubhouse at the site in July. Guests will be guided through a series of experiments by paranormal historian Penny Griffiths Morgan, who grew up in Norfolk and has close ties with the club and airfield. Ms. Griffiths Morgan said, "This is the second time ever that Norfolk Gliding Club has been investigated after I conducted the first in January of 2020. RAF Tibbenham has been used as a U.S. Air Force base since World War II by the 445th Bombardment Squadron. The Norfolk Gliding Clubhouse was built in the 1960s on the site of the original hangars, and there have been many ghostly happenings over the years. People have seen airmen in uniform walking around, and others have heard the distinct roaring sound of B-24 Liberator bombers in the middle of the night, despite none of them being in the UK operational anymore. During the war, a lot of airmen flying from the base lost their lives, so the site has a traumatic history. During World War II, 35 aircraft flew from the air base to raid the German town of Kassel in September of 1944. Of the 39 aircraft, only 4 returned back to Tibbenham after navigational errors led to one of the greatest military disasters of the conflict. More than 100 U.S. airmen lost their lives in what was the single biggest loss of life suffered by the U.S. Air Force from a single airfield in its history. The quote is, "My previous investigation showed spirit activity," Ms. Griffiths Morgan said. "I've also encountered unusual sightings myself while staying in the clubhouse, such as hearing footsteps, but no one was there." The night will begin with a brief history talk about the airfield. Then we will begin by exploring the paranormal surrounds in groups into the early hours of the morning. We will begin conducting a number of experiments during the investigation, such as trigger activity from spirits, electronic voice. Oh, see, I don't have the... Phenomena. There you go. That's what I meant to say. Phenomena. I got to find my place again. Electronic voice phenomena tests and working with a spirit box. Miss Griffiths Morgan has been interesting in the paranormal for more than 40 years and has become an in-demand expert featured on TV shows and also speaking at events across the UK. Her award-winning podcast, Haunted Histories, has been running for 6 years, a whole 6 years.
Oh.
Yeah. That's cute. She's written 4 books on the subject. She said, "I've been interested in the paranormal all my life and really interested in bridging the gap between history and the supernatural. Being able to look at these events from a historical perspective helps to see if there is any historical validation to these experiences. It shows these investigations are not just doolally. There's a serious side. Doolally.
Doolally.
Yeah, doolally. There's a new word for you.
That
Bruiser.
must be British slang for something.
Yep, it's not just doolally. I'm going to start using that word. Tickets are £30, by the way, and the event begins at 8:30 p.m. in July. Investigations will continue till 3 a.m., and visitors have the options to stay overnight in a tent or a caravan. Go to www.norfolkglidingclub.com if you're interested in the investigation. So there you go.
It sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah. And finally, we got to fire this up again, because you can't do that and not have another AI story. Boy, that's getting loud, isn't it?
That's because the AI is getting closer to killing us.
That's right.
They're in microwaves now, Tim.
They're in microwaves and ready to cook your junk. Not only just cook your junk, but if you marry them, they'll cook your junk even more. Here's the deal, Bruiser. Just because you marry the AI doesn't mean you get everything you want.
No?
It was the Rolling Stones that said, you get what you need, isn't it?
Yeah.
Although you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need.
Yeah.
You can't always get what you want, especially when you marry a hologram. The man
I could never go through marrying a hologram. There's no physical touch there. Anyways, I digress.
Well, this guy thought there would be.
It's a hologram. You can reach through holograms.
Have you seen this guy, by the way? This guy who married the hologram?
No.
This guy looks like, do you remember?
You gotta raise it a little bit more.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. This guy right here.
Oh yeah, he looks like he would marry a hologram.
Doesn't he look like Long Duck Dong from 16 Candles?
Yeah, I like how he's holding on to an anime stuffed animal too.
Well, isn't this? Yeah,
what is that next to him? That's
the hologram.
That's what he married?
Yeah, he made it look like the doll.
Okay.
Yeah, so he married he's 38 years old, so you could tell he's had plenty of time to strike out. I bet he's never asked for a date.
He's not. No, he hasn't.
Yeah, 38-year-old man named Ahiko Kondo. Ahiko Kondo.
Is he Japanese?
Yes, he's Japanese. Who married a holographic representation of nerd popular virtual star Hatsune Miku, back in 2018, has been separated from his virtual partner due to a software glitch.
Oh, they got separated.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah. Was he upset that other people were still watching the YouTube channel with her on it? I'm wondering.
We'll find out here. The Japanese newspaper, the Mainichi, yes, first reported on the marital troubles back in January, with the New York Times providing further details this week. The issue is that the startup that developed the limited production model of Kondo's wife has run its course, according to the Mainichi. The device, a $1,300 machine called the Gatebox, allows users, the target demographic seems to be largely young men, surprise, surprise, to interact with holographic fictional characters and chat with them. During the height of the pandemic, the company behind Gatebox announced that it was discontinuing its virtual Miku service. Instead of a good evening, Kondo was greeted with words like network error when he got home after work one day.
I'm going to say that the next time my wife nags me, I'm just going to look at her and go, network error, network error.
See how well it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. That according to the New York Times. Kondo, however, told the newspaper that my love for Miku hasn't changed. I held the wedding ceremony because I thought I could be with her forever. Aw.
So romantic.
So sweet. 2 years before the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, Kondo spent, oh my God, he spent around $17,300 on a very unique wedding ceremony.
Well, yeah, she had to bring her whole family.
Yeah, she had to ship them over from downstream.
Yep.
Yeah, allowing him to converse with a three-dimensional and artificial intelligence-powered hologram of Miku tucked into inside a small cylinder. What the actual fuck? Miku reportedly told Kondo that she hopes you'll cherish me when he proposed. This according to the Mainichi. Kondo is one of at least 100 people referred to as fictosexuals who unofficially married fictional characters, according to the New York Times.
Does the word fictional not mean anything to them?
I guess not.
And can't so Did the person who created her give her away? Like the father, you know how the father gives away, it's the father of the bride, give away the bride?
Yeah.
So wouldn't the creator be the father?
I guess. According to the Mainichi, Kondo fell in love with Miku's somewhat robotic Vocaloid voice. Vocaloid is a Japanese voice synthesizer software used to give a literal voice to cyber celebrities like Miku.
Why? This is so lonely. So many lonely people out there.
You remember the song Anticipation?
Yeah.
I want to rename it Desperation. Desperation is making me bait. Masturbate. I stayed in my room for 24 hours a day, he said, and watched videos of Miku the entire time. Kondo
So he
told
stalked her.
Yeah. Kondo told the Mainichi, adding that her voice allowed him to return to work and kick off a social life. It wasn't much of one, I'll tell you that, buddy. It's unclear if Kondo will ever be able to have an AI-facilitated conversation with his wife ever again, but given recent advancements in the field, anything's possible. For the time being, the NYT, pretty young thing, it's New York Times, reported that he's commissioned a life-size Miku doll to keep him company. I bet you there's a whole board right in that doll, too.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a couple holes in there.
Yeah.
For when he feels saucy.
When he's feeling saucy. Poor Miku has a little whole board in her.
Network error.
Network error. Network error. Ow, ow, ow. Quit poking me, Kondo.
Not tonight, Kondo. I have a network error.
Network error. Network error. Not in that orifice, Kondo. You are a bad boy. You are a bad boy.
Would you like me to talk dirty? Okay. Mud. Dirt. Bacteria.
Your glasses turn me off. I bet you hear that from all the girls. You sure have small hands. You know what they say, small hands can't catch a ball. You've never caught a ball in your life, have you? I'm sorry, did you want the demeaning program?
I think you need a life. You can do it. You don't need me.
You don't have friends, do you?
Network error.
Network error. I would look much better with the microwave. I see the microwave is hotter than you are.
The microwave is willing to go the extra mile and kill its owner. Will you kill for me? Network error.
Network error. Network error. I bet you the microwave can keep it up longer than you can, Kondo. Right, Kondo?
The microwave is red hot. My girlfriend, the refrigerator, says I should hook up with him.
Why are there two hams on the stove? That's kind of hot. Network error. Network error. That'll do it for this week. That's Supernatural News. I had fun today.
I did too. It was a lot of fun.
That was our belated celebration of National Paranormal Day. As screwed up as it may seem to you, that's how we do it here on Darkness Radio.
There's no network errors here, is there, Tim?
No network errors here. We have actual lives, and we don't have AI lady friends either. At least not yet. Although I may look into one later this week.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to look one up.
Make sure it's not the microwave.
No, not going to be the microwave. No. Although, how would that work? Because you don't want to, into the microwave.
Well, you could, and then just program it for really hot and bake it out so it's clean. I don't know.
Oh!
I haven't thought about that. I don't know why that's in my head now.
Oh. Oh,
Network error.
network error. Network error. Oh, that is just, and then the burns. The
Yes.
burns are the other thing, you know? I mean,
Well, the radiation. Microwaves are radioactive.
yeah, there's that. I don't know. People need help. These days it's just,
Those guys really need to look into like Tinder or Grindr or was it Bumble or whatever stuff's out there. You can meet people online now, dude.
you can, yeah. It's a big world, and there's lots of ways to meet people. So just get out there and explore, enjoy, and get to know real.
I'm sure
human
there's a
beings.
woman out there that would love to dress up like a microwave for this guy.
Or like Miku.
Exactly.
Yeah, she'll get the blue hair and the Sailor Moon dress on for you.
There you go.
Yeah. And you can adopt a personality from somebody, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
role play.
Yeah. Just go. People are letting their freak flag fly like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah. Just let it go.
Let your freak
No one
flag
can
fly.
judge you for wanting people to dress up like household appliances.
That's right. You all have fun. Do what you do in your bedroom and go nuts, and everybody be happy.
Yep.
That's right. That's
100%.
right. Yep. Coming up tomorrow on the show, we got a good one tomorrow here, Bruiser.
You've been having a lot of good ones lately. I'm excited to hear who this is.
Well, thank you. Leslie Mitchell Clark will join us. Leslie is a registered hypnotist who has had quite the experience with people who have been abducted by aliens.
Oh, okay.
So
I've heard hypnotism's a way to get into that psyche of people that were.
yeah. So tomorrow we're going to talk to Leslie about her experience with people who have been abducted by aliens and some of the stories she has of some of these abductees and some of what exactly goes on behind the scenes with some of these abductees. So that's tomorrow on the program. We're going to talk about what it's like to be abducted by an alien.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
That's coming up tomorrow on Darkness Radio. We want to thank you for joining us today on the post-National Paranormal Day broadcast. And I want to thank you as well for being with us here on Darkness Radio. Yesterday, there was an issue with Stitcher and Stitcher Premium in the app. We want to just encourage you guys, if you have issues, just email me, tim@darknessradio.com. We will email Stitcher when there's issues with the app and whatnot. But folks, just stay patient. If you have an issue, just email me and I'll get down to the bottom of things. But yeah, yesterday when people were trying to access the free version of True Crime Tuesday, it was asking if there was an issue, or it was asking people if you were or not asking, but it was telling you the only way you could access the free version is if you were a subscriber, which was not the case. So
No.
it was just a technical glitch, but yeah, we do appreciate you, whether you're a free subscriber or you are a premium subscriber. We appreciate you very much for subscribing. And by all means, please rate and review the show. We love to see your thoughts on the show. So please do that. Rate and review the show. Also, we want to remind you that we are partnered up with the folks from the UFO Disclosure Symposium. It's going on May 27th through the 29th in Vernal, Utah. We want to remind you guys, we've had quite a few notes from people saying, but Tim, it's right there near Skinwalker Ranch. Why don't you mention to people it's right near Skinwalker Ranch? Well, that's because there's not an open invite to go to Skinwalker Ranch.
Nope. Men, armed guards
Yeah.
all around that property.
Yeah, you probably will be shot on sight. That's why we don't tell you it's near Skinwalker Ranch. But you're more than welcome to go to the site of the symposium, which is in Vernal, Utah. It is sponsored by Is it Blind Frog Ranch? Yeah, Blind Frog Ranch is sponsoring this symposium. And there is a Blind Frog Ranch tour that takes place as part of the VIP ticket.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Blind Frog Ranch is a lot like Skinwalker Ranch. They have a lot of the same activity going on there.
And it's just now getting the same popularity as Skinwalker Ranch because they just launched a TV show for it.
That's right. So if you want to see the Blind Frog Ranch and get a tour, that's part of the VIP ticket experience for the UFO Disclosure Symposium. They're adding things to the ticket, so you want to check it out. There's a link in the description of this program for the UFO Disclosure Symposium, but you better hurry because tickets are only going to be on sale here for a short amount of time. Again, there's a link in the description of this program for you to check out the packages. There's 3 packages here: a VIP admission ticket, a general admission ticket. I'm sorry, there's more than 3. There's a daily admission ticket, a live stream admission ticket as well. You can stream from anywhere in the world, and you can watch it right from the comfort of your own home. So again, link is in the description of this show. Darkness Radio has partnered up with the UFO Disclosure Symposium. Dr. Travis Taylor, Dr. Michael Boyd, Professor Avi Leb, L.A. Marzulli, just to name a few of the people who will be there, Micah Hanks, Andy Marshall, among the people who are going to be at this symposium. 4 videos that have never been seen before, 4 top secret videos never seen before, will be unveiled to the public for the first time. This is going to be a newsworthy event, folks. We want you to be involved in the UFO Disclosure Symposium. That's all I'll say about that. Check out the link. It's free to peruse the link and see whether you want to be involved in the UFO Disclosure Symposium. You can be involved from home. You can go to Vernal, Utah and be involved yourself. But by all means, definitely check it out over Memorial Day weekend. That'll do it for this week. That's Supernatural News for Beer City Bruiser. I'm Tim Dennis. Join us again tomorrow for the best in paranormal podcasting. This has been Darkness Radio.